Okay, everybody's talking about how hot the San Francisco real estate market is right now. And it is, but there are other sides to that story. This is not just a houses are selling and condos are not video. I am really peeling back the layers here. There are entire sections of this market that are moving differently. The same city, same time period, completely different outcomes depending on what you're buying or what you're selling. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where the opportunities are if you're buying. And if you're selling, how to position your home so it doesn't become one of the listings that just sits. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Clay Jeffrey and I've lived in San Francisco since the 90s. I make videos about living in San Francisco and I also sell real estate here. I've seen a lot of different market shifts, as you can imagine. This isn't one simple market anymore. Different property types are behaving completely differently. You know, there's a risk. If you don't know your market, you could price it wrong, you could be negotiating wrong, and you could just miss your opportunity. Okay, before we get going, I gotta set this up. There's one number that makes everything make sense in what we're gonna talk about, and that's days on market. Clearly, that is what it means. It's how long a home sits on the market before it goes pending. San Francisco houses have a median of about 12 days on market, and condos are 21 days. Both are really fast by any standard, and the market is still moving really quickly. But medians and averages hide big stories. 40% of condos are sitting 30 days or longer. Days on market isn't just how fast a home sells, it's an indicator of the value that you're going to capture, not just speed. Let me explain this. Houses that sell in less than a week sell for an average of $12.25 a square foot. Houses dragging past 90 days, it's $820 a square foot. Sale price drops from 128% of asking down to 95% of asking. Condos are a similar story, almost $1,200 down to just below $900. The longer a home sits, the negotiating power is going to shift from the seller to the buyer. Now, before we move on, there's always going to be exceptions. You're going to have amazing condos that are going to sell super fast. There's always going to be a poorly priced home that sits for months, but patterns will tell a clear story. So where is this actually showing up? We're going to start with the slowest moving segment. Okay, studios and one bedroom condos are the slowest moving segment. Studios are a median of 59 days on market. One bedrooms are 31. Now you compare that to the two bedrooms and three bedrooms, which are selling much faster at 18 and 14 days on market. And that's the medians. If we break it down to the averages, they are 3 times longer than the rest of the condo market. So why is this? The buyer pool is just smaller than it used to be. Remote work really changed the way that people think about what they need. They want a home office, they need a little more space. What used to work for a couple or a single now just doesn't feel big enough anymore. If you're a buyer, this is the best place to be negotiating right now. In fact, we've got a buyer who just closed. He got a really small 1-bedroom in a brand new building in Soma. And the biggest win there wasn't really the price, because it's really hard to negotiate those down with new builds, but that's a whole other video for another day. It was getting the seller to include a parking space with a small 1-bedroom. That is really difficult to get in San Francisco apartments. Great news is that that just makes it a better fit for him for a longer term. And if you're a seller, you can't lead with that it's a starter home condo logic. There's just too much for them to choose from. Okay, this next one is not about location. This time it's defined by HOA dues. Dues that are under $400 a month average about 19 days on market. Dues that are $1,500 to $2,500 a month are 49 days on market. And HOAs that have dues over $2,500 a month, which there are, believe it or not, those are on the market for 80 days on average. And we've got active listings right now with these high HOA fees, and they're averaging 111 days on market. These aren't sold, these are on market right now, they're sitting there. So these high HOA fees is not really random, right? Condos built after 2000 are the slowest moving construction era. And that entire database, 6 out of every 10 are concentrated in one district, District 9, which is South Beach, Mission Bay, Soma, Yerba Buena, all the newer high-rise towers. They've got elevators, concierge, amenities, and HOA dues that come with it for the maintenance. These high HOA fees affect your affordability. We have a buyer in escrow right now. He drew a hard line at $1,000 a month of HOA. He would not go over, but he wanted something newer, and that rules out a lot of the newer buildings. But we did find it, the Esprit building in Dogpatch. It's newer, it's large, and still has a lot of amenities. It has a gym, etc. And the HOAs there are under $1,000, and it's well run. Buyers, if you're looking to get into one of these buildings, you have a lot of negotiating power. Sellers, the buyers, they're doing that HOA math before they're even thinking about square footage. So you need to be ready to explain the value of your building and why the fees are so high. Now, if you're thinking about a move to San Francisco and you want to understand which neighborhoods and buildings actually make sense for your situation, the HOA dues, the building age, the commute, the lifestyle, the whole picture, grab our free San Francisco relocation guide down in the description. And if you're already getting serious about making a move, schedule a call with us. My team and I talk to people every week who are planning to move to San Francisco, and we'd be happy to help you build a strategy that's right for you. Okay, this one is about houses, our unbreakable housing market. This is so interesting. Single family homes. There's one feature that the buyers are going to notice before they even walk in the front door, and that's parking. 3-bedroom houses without parking average 39 days on market. If you got the same house with one garage space, it's going to be 18 days on market. That's more than double the time because of parking alone. I checked. It's not about some correlated factor like size or age. The gap remained even when I looked at bedroom count to bedroom count. Parking itself is what's changing that behavior. We've just gone through this. We had a listing without parking, and honestly, it was the easiest street to park on that I've ever had a listing for. And it was a real hurdle for people. You know, San Francisco is still a car-dependent city in the neighborhoods where there is a lot of single-family homes. Parking is a requirement for a lot of buyers. It's not just a nice feature. But buyers, if you don't need parking, there is a real opportunity. If it fits your lifestyle and you're willing for the trade-off, I would go for it. You can negotiate. Sellers, you've got to price with that reality from day one. Ignoring it will just keep you on the market longer, and we know what happens if you stay on the market longer. Okay, that was where buyers have gained some leverage, but there are these segments where sellers have so firmly got the control here. Then you've heard it all before, single family homes. They are selling in 12 days, and only 15% of the houses sit on the market longer than a month. You know, you compare that to 40% of condos. It's a pretty dramatic difference. So we all know why. It's checking the boxes for buyers. They get more privacy, more outdoor space, their own outdoor space, fewer shared walls, and none of those pesky HOA fees. Buyers have placed a premium on this for years, and it's just getting stronger. But buyers, don't assume every house is going to be a bidding war. There are opportunities, and they exist if you're patient, prepared, and in the right area. Sellers, you're starting from a position of strength. Pricing still matters, but houses moving fast versus almost every other category. Houses are not the whole story. There's one condo segment performing just as well. This one is tough for condo buyers because they come in with some of the headlines or even stuff that I've said, and they're surprised when I tell them. Condos built before 1920, they are averaging 13 days on market, and they are selling at 115% of their asking price. That's better than any other construction era for condos, including brand new. And the reason why is because it matches what people think when they think about living in San Francisco. They imagine Victorians and Edwardians and smaller buildings. Some of them feel not that different than a single family home. You walk into your own front door. Just a handful of neighbors and lower HOA fees normally. They're also in walkable neighborhoods. That character isn't getting built anymore. Those types of homes aren't getting built anymore. Buyers, just know this going in. These homes you've got to be prepared for like you would for a single family home. They are highly desirable. Sellers, lean into what makes it special. Buyers want character. Now, if you're a seller, you might be looking at this and saying, okay, if my home falls into one of these slower moving categories, am I out of luck? That's not true. No, because after looking at every one of these categories, there's one thing that becomes incredibly clear. The hottest segment in San Francisco, it isn't a neighborhood, it isn't a price point, it isn't a property type, it isn't a property characteristic. It's homes that are priced correctly for today's market. Homes priced accurately for today's market are the fastest, highest value segment in this entire database. Houses that close at 30 days or less close for 128% of their asking price. Houses that weren't priced properly, they sit a little longer than 30 days, they close around 100%. Condos, same story, 111% versus the slow, incorrectly priced at about 99%. It doesn't matter which segment your home falls into. A studio condo, no parking house, a high HOA unit, pricing it to what today's market is actually saying, not what the neighbor's house sold for 2 years ago. That's what determines whether you maximize your results. The sellers winning right now, they generally do three things. They price for today's market, not last year's. They presented the home clean, polished, and market ready. And they're working with someone who understands what's happening in their specific segment, not someone that's just taking a one-size-fits-all approach. One of the hardest conversations with sellers is separating what they hope the market is from what buyers are actually doing today. That's usually where the outcome gets decided. This isn't luck, it's strategy, and it's exactly what this market is rewarding right now. So yeah, the headlines are right. The San Francisco market is moving quickly, but they're also incomplete because underneath those headlines are dozens of different markets, each with its own buyers and sellers and opportunities and challenges. A studio condo isn't competing with a 4-bedroom house. A luxury high-rise isn't competing with a 2-unit Victorian. They're all playing by slightly different rules. That's why understanding your specific segment matters so much. Whether you're buying your first condo, you're selling a Victorian, or simply trying to figure out whether now is the right time to make a move, the better you understand your market, the better your decisions become. Okay, now if you are moving to San Francisco, this video right here is for you. And if you live here in San Francisco, or we're moving here, you just want to know more about San Francisco real estate market, it's right here. And if you're thinking about buying or selling in San Francisco or planning a move here from out of town, my team and I would love to help. Schedule a call using the links in the description below. Thank you so much, and I will see you at the next one.